Rika Tatsumi, the White Dragon, a 6-year veteran of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and currently one half of the longest reigning tag title holders in the company. Rika starts her career in wrestling in a debut match against Shoko Nakajima under the ring name Ririko Kendo. She wrestles in a few more matches against Miyu Yamashita and Kana, but unfortunately her wrestling career is put on hold after sustaining an arm injury. Rika continues to appear in Tokyo Joshi, usually in handicap matches, ironic given her injury, whereby she would help whatever teammate she was paired with by attacking with a sharp hook attached to her cast. After Rika's arm heals up, she returns to the ring with a revised ring name of Rika Tatsumi, a combination of her own name and Tatsumi Fujinami. And while she is happy to be back in the ring wrestling, her time away has meant that she has fallen behind other wrestlers who have started around the same time as her. It takes Rika 8 months to finally get a singles victory after returning. At the 2017 January 4th show, a familiar shadow would creep back into Tokyo Joshi. Saki-sama has returned from her excursion to Paris and has brought with her one of her maids, Martha Stewart. Miyu Yamashita steps forward to defend Tokyo Joshi from this incoming wave of darkness. Saki-sama is as ever a dominating force and puts Miyu on the defensive. But this isn't the same Miyu Saki-sama fought over a year ago. She's been training hard and even won the promotion's top prize. As Miyu begins to make a comeback, Martha begins to use some dirty tactics to give Saki-sama an advantage, allowing Saki-sama to hit the Academy Award kick and mark her return with a victory. Miyu attempts to get her win back and tags with Rika against a debuting Martha. Saki-sama says Martha's job as a maid is to clear up trash, and that is just what she will do in the ring today. Miyu gets some cathartic kicks on Martha and forces her to tag out. Saki-sama is quick to rile Miyu up, so Rika decides to tag in so that she can clear her head. The fresh Rika squares off against Saki-sama and appears to be on the same level, but Martha trips Rika using her mop, giving Saki-sama the advantage. She is attacked by Saki-sama and Martha, but luckily counters a move into a Brett rope hip attack, allowing Miyu to tag in. But again, when Saki-sama is on the defensive, Martha quickly jumps in to turn the table. Rika comes in once more and manages to get Saki-sama in a figure 4 in the centre of the ring. With Saki-sama unable to escape, Martha uses her mop to reverse the hold. Miyu comes in to assist, and the two combo attack on Saki-sama. Rika applies a dragon sleeper hold as Saki-sama fades from consciousness, but before the ref can call the submission, Martha pulls him from the ring and breaks Saki-sama from the hold, and sets up Rika for the pin. Rika gets infuriated with the loss and begins admonishing Sin Bishiki-gun, Miyu needing to drag her away before things turn ugly. But despite Miyu's intentions, Rika is not done yet. The next show, Rika challenges Sin Bishiki-gun once again, but this time has a different tag partner. Maho Kurone introduces herself at the 2016 January 4th show alongside 3 other girls. She makes her debut match in a short exhibition against a fellow trainee Hinako. Maho is a natural, able to pin Hinako and cause her to submit twice. Her ring gear suggests she is a punky goth girl, but as time goes on, things begin to change. Her hair colour turns a sickly green, blood begins to drip from her eyes and mouth, and various scars and stitches begin to appear over her body. Her changes become even more obvious when she starts to scare children, coming to the ring with a severed arm and attempting to bite her opponents. Unclear as to when this happened, but Maho has transformed into a wrestling zombie. Maho's presence in the ring terrifies Martha, who is unable to compose herself. Martha returns to her tag corner, and instead of Saki-sama tagging in to take over, she instead pulls out a blindfold, so Martha doesn't have to look at Maho's scary face. Maho may be able to sneak up on Martha now, but in close quarters grappling, Martha is still a force to be reckoned with. Saki-sama gets tagged in and displays her power to the uninitiated Maho. But as she gets the upper hand, a still blindfolded Martha attacks her from behind, believing she was attacking Maho. This allows Rika to be tagged in as she attempts to submit Saki-sama. When Martha would attempt to interfere, Rika is ready, and Maho helps to scare her away. But under the pretense of cleaning the ring, Martha is able to get close to Rika and break the hold she had on Saki-sama. The teams quickly tag in and out to counter one another. Martha is able to get the best of Rika, but tagging in Maho scares Martha enough to make her less effective. But when Saki-sama is tagged in, she is able to overpower Maho. Rika is then tagged in, and with some assistance from Maho is able to set up the Dragon Sleeper again. Saki-sama's hand goes limp and is dropped once, twice, and is then stopped from falling by Martha's mop. Rika goes to clear Martha from the ring, but is quickly rolled up by Saki-sama, giving Sin Bishiki-gun the win again. Rika goes for Sin Bishkigun again, this time teaming with Azusa Takigawa. Azusa previously faced Sakisama with her ally Nodoko, after Sakisama insinuated getting married to be a trivial thing. Unfortunately, the two lose to Bishkigun once more. After the match, Azusa wishes to get a singles match against Sakisama, but Sakisama is able to intimidate Azusa to reconsider. Rika, on the other hand, takes Sakisama up on the offer for a singles match in the hopes that a one-on-one confrontation could be the deciding factor in their match. Rika comes flying out of the corner with consecutive hip attacks, but Sakisama adeptly dodges them. Perhaps it was naive to think this would be a one-on-one match, as at the first opportunity, Martha drags Rika to the outside, setting Sakisama up for her Academy Award kick. Even inside the ring, Rika is not safe. As Sakisama distracts the ref, Martha comes in to strangle Rika with her own streamer, and helps Sakisama to break out of Rika's submission. But Martha becomes too overzealous, blinding Sakisama with the mop, Rika capitalizing with a near fall. Rika manages to hit the Dragon Twist of Fate for another near fall, and as Sakisama kicks out, she grabs Rika's arm into a triangle choke, needing to tap out. Rika calls out Sakisama and Martha's cheating, Sakisama acting like the match was won fair and square. Rika decides if Sakisama can get help from Martha, she will need some help too. Maho Kurone comes out and scares Martha away from the ring. The two are determined to defeat Sin Bishkigun and are now the Dragon Bombers.
I never give up! We never give up! We are Dragon Bombers!
In the next encounter, Martha methodically out-chain wrestles Rika, slowly wearing her down. Rika only able to escape when she makes it to the corner for a blind tag from Maho. Martha is still terrified of Maho, quickly running away and tagging in Sakisama, and when Sakisama has control of the situation, refuses to be tagged back in whilst Maho is still in the ring. This distraction allows the Dragon Bombers to get some offense in on Sakisama. They isolate her as Martha is nowhere to be seen. But just then, Martha bursts from backstage, equipped with a pair of sunglasses so she can avoid seeing Maho's face. With Martha's new strategy, the tides begin to turn in favour of Sin Bishkigun as Martha takes both Dragon Bombers down. Maho manages to wrangle the eyewear off of Martha, making her susceptible to Maho's horror. Martha throws Maho into Sakisama's boot and directs her to open the bag she brought with her to the ring. She reveals the mask of Saki Akamiya that she must have stolen earlier. A bold action to take, as Saki Akamiya's former partner in Justice, Hyper Misao, was at ringside. With Maho maskless and Martha sunglassless, the two begin chasing each other around the ring and through the crowd. Rika and Sakisama attempt to control the situation, but instead end up fighting on the outside. As the ref approaches the 20 count, both teams desperately try to get back in the ring before being counted out. But it's too late, and the bell rings, signalling a double count-out draw. For the next match, in order to make sure a draw doesn't happen, a no count-out rule is set in place. Martha is still scared of Maho and has forgotten to bring her sunglasses. Maho's scary visage is also enough to break Sakisama's cool demeanour, allowing the Dragon Bombers to lead the match early on. Whenever Martha would come in to cheat and help Sakisama, Maho would be sure to scare her away. In order to win the match, Martha must conquer her fear. She gets hyped up from the crowd and confronts Maho to break Rika's hold on Sakisama. The one edge the Dragon Bombers had over Sin Bishkigun has been rendered ineffective as Martha is able to fight off Maho and get the pin over her. After the match, Sakisama complains that she is getting bored of seeing Rika and her ugly mug and wishes to move on. Rika interrupts by saying how something doesn't seem right, and that she thinks Martha is actually a man and therefore shouldn't be allowed to compete in a Joshi promotion. Sakisama is shocked at the allegation and assures everyone that Martha is an ordinary 8-year-old girl. Rika wasn't buying it, however, and vowed to uncover Martha's identity. Next month, the Dragon Bombers once again face Sin Bishkigun, but something is amiss as Sakisama enters alone. This is the greatest advantage the Dragon Bombers have, as Sakisama is left to fight on her own against Rika and Maho. The two make quick tags back and forth and execute numerous combination attacks to weaken Sakisama. And as Sakisama is trapped in a figure 4 leglock in the middle of the ring, victory is almost assured. But Martha appears out of nowhere and quickly dispatches the Dragon Bombers before handing Sakisama a slip of paper. Sakisama celebrates what was written, but before being able to divulge the information, Dragon Bombers continue their offense. But with Martha back and a reinvigorated Sakisama, the Dragon Bombers lose once more. Afterwards, Saki-sama explains the paper handed to her was in fact a birth registration that confirmed that Martha was indeed an 8-year-old girl. But Rika snatches the paper and rips it into pieces as Maho begins to consume the fragments. Rika isn't buying this story at all. At the next show she will bring an actual doctor to examine Martha and get to the bottom of this once and for all. Saki-sama, annoyed at all the trauma these allegations must be causing her dear Martha, challenges Rika to a singles match for the next show. Before the match, Rika is true to her words and brings out Dr. Masayuki Hayashi, a well-respected ringside doctor known for his work with New Japan. As Martha is dragged to the back to be examined, Saki-sama collapses on the floor in a tantrum. When it becomes clear her tears aren't working, she composes herself for her singles match with Rika. With no Martha to interfere, and with Maho in Rika's corner to cheer her on, the two have the most competitive match so far. Saki-sama gets the upper hand early on with her swift kicks, but Rika is able to counter many of Saki-sama's setups after having fought her for so long. But Saki-sama is not as adaptable and once again gets trapped in the figure 4 leg lock. But as if on cue, Martha comes running from the back to break the hold. Maho attempts to block the attack but wasn't prepared for it. The match comes to a stop as Rika questions Martha's abrupt return. Dr. Hayashi comes back to explain his findings. He originally had his doubts and admitted that he thought Martha was in fact a 3-year-old girl, but on closer inspection confirms that Martha is indeed an 8-year-old girl. Rika is caught in disbelief as the match continues. Her head is still reeling from what she has just heard, and it takes a few sequences to get the advantage again and apply a dragon sleeper hold on Saki-sama. But as Saki-sama fades, Dr. Hayashi climbs on the ring apron and throws powder in Rika's face, allowing Saki-sama to pin Rika yet again. Rika, furious over the cheated win and Dr. Hayashi's betrayal, wants another match against Saki-sama. Saki-sama has been bored of beating Rika 2 shows ago, and so will only accept on one condition, that if Sin Bishikigun wins, the Dragon Bombers would have to disband. Rika agrees, but if they win, Sin Bishikigun will have to leave Tokyo Joshi. Dr. Hayashi comes out with Martha and Saki-sama. He was a great help in the last match and is yet another obstacle the Dragon Bombers have to look out for. Before the bell is rung, the Dragon Bombers do a sneak attack on Sin Bishikigun, Maho attempting to scare the Doctor away so he cannot become a factor later. With such a hectic start to the match, all 4 girls perform sequences to each other. The ref manages to corral the girls and temporarily halts the match as Martha grabs her arm with an apparent injury. Dr. Hayashi, showing he is a true man that follows the Hippocratic Oath, checks on Martha's arm and provides a plaster that rejuvenates Martha, allowing her to take on both Dragon Bombers. With Bishikigun now leading the match, the two isolate Rika and don't mess around when it comes to humiliating her. Martha drags Rika's face across the ropes, and Saki-sama hits Rika with a full bouquet of roses. Rika shows incredible resolve by kicking out of 3 consecutive pin attempts, but with the way Bishikigun are treating her, it won't be long before she can't take any more. After a quick reversal and drop kick, Rika is able to break away and tag in a fresh Maho. But it doesn't take long for Bishikigun to take control again. Maho needed to hit a desperate reverse swinging neckbreaker so she can tag Rika back in. Rika is able to hit the chop block and follows into a dragon screw and climbs the top rope for a hip attack. But after running off the rope, Saki-sama catches her with a brutal kick to the face. Saki-sama tags out, leaving a exhausted and injured Rika to Martha. And despite Maho's help, neither of them can stop Martha. But when Martha attempts to use her mop, the ref tries to interfere and gets knocked out for his troubles. With the ref out of action, Saki-sama and Martha do a brutal sequence of attacks on Rika, and to add insult to injury, they try to get Dr. Hayashi in on the attack. But Rika dodges and Martha gets blinded by the powder. Saki-sama tries to keep the offense going, but Martha mistakenly super kicks Saki-sama in the head. In the confusion, Rika gets Martha in a headlock and then transitions into a dragon sleeper hold that Martha has no choice but to tap out. After 4 months, the Dragon Bombers have finally put an end to Saki-sama's reign of terror in Tokyo Joshi. The two celebrate while Saki-sama admonishes Dr. Hayashi, but Dr. Hayashi interrupts that Saki-sama has been infected with some kind of disease and must leave for France immediately to be seen by a specialist doctor. Saki-sama quickly leaves to board her private jet. Rika exclaims that while they succeeded in their task, the Dragon Bombers are not finished yet, as there is still much more that they wish to accomplish. But Saki-sama would not be gone for long. A month later, Saki-sama and Martha return from France. Saki-sama is still not well enough to compete, but has brought her specialist doctor who has been treating her illness with her, Yukio St. Laurent. The Dragon Bombers attempt to take down the newly created Neo Bishikigun, but Yukio has a new batch of tricks that they aren't prepared for. He knows multiple pressure points, able to tense Rika's body so she can't move, and he has syringes filled with a mysterious substance. And a devastating submission move, the Euthanasia. Neo Bishikigun returns with another victory over the Dragon Bombers, but from the back, Shiro Kishinaka appears. He chases off Bishikigun with heavy-hitting hip attacks and announces that he will be teaming with the Dragon Bombers to take care of Bishikigun. At Kurikan Hall during the first ever brand new wrestling show, Bishikigun and the Dragon Bombers face off for the last time. In preparation for this match, Rika has been training her hips extensively. The two teams are evenly matched to begin with, but Shiro is the X-factor for the Dragon Bombers. He is able to take out all three members of Bishikigun and sets up the Samurai Powerbomb with Rika and Maho. But Bishikigun are able to counter and all three begin to team up on Shiro. Saint Laurent captures Shiro and attempts to inject him with a needle, but Shiro's hips are as tough as steel and is able to repel the pointed instrument. And Shiro and Rika are able to hit dual hip attacks on Saki-sama and Martha. This gives Rika the chance to hook in the Dragon Sleeper, the move that won their last encounter with Bishikigun. But Saint Laurent breaks it up and gets Maho and Rika's pressure points and stabs them both with scalpels. This allows Bishikigun to get all three members into submission holds. With no friends to help Rika, she struggles to find the rope to break the hold. Maho and Shiro help clear the ring of Bishikigun for a final standoff between Saki-sama and Rika. Saki-sama hits a high kick to Rika and sets up the Academy Award. Rika dodges and attempts the roll-up, but Saki-sama has been in this situation before and will be damned if she will lose like this again. Rika continues attempts to win with roll-ups but to no avail, but when Saki-sama runs to the ropes, Rika quickly counters and hits a hip attack to Saki-sama to stun her long enough to get the win, making Rika the second person in Tokyo Joshi to pin Saki-sama. After the match, Saki-sama insists it was a 2 count, arguing with the ref, and then trying to confirm it with her tag mates. Yukio begrudgingly raises 3 fingers as Saki-sama screams and faints. The Dragon Bombers have succeeded against Bishikigun once more, this time beating Saki-sama herself, and are now ready for anything. A brand new championship title is revealed for Tokyo Joshi, the Princess Tag Championship. In order to crown the first champions, a single elimination tournament is held over the next couple months. With the Dragon Bombers being a formidable team, they of course enter. Their confidence allows them to take on teams Trick Student, which featured newly freelance veteran Yuna Manase, and their teamwork allows them to beat teams like Brave Mates with former Princess Champion Yu. The Dragon Bombers make it all the way to the finals. Winning the tag titles would be the cherry on the cake for all the challenges the both of them had to endure up to this point. Their opponents are the Miraicleans, made up of former Princess Cup winner Shoko Nakajima and former Princess Champion Yuka Sakazaki. The match starts with the two teams showing respect for one another. The Dragon Bombers had previously refused handshakes from the other opponents in the tournament, but make an exception for Yuka and Shoko. Yuka and Shoko dictate the pace of the match. Yuka is able to out-grapple Maho, and when Rika is tagged in, she is quick to tag in her fresh partner Shoko to counter. During offense, the two make use of blind tags to confuse and capitalize on offense to the Dragon Bombers. Rika manages to tag in Maho after quickly grabbing Shoko in a hold, and the Dragon Bombers do their best to isolate the smaller Shoko, and tagging back and forth to keep their energy levels high. But Shoko's no stranger to uphill battles and puts all her power into a rider kick, buying enough time to tag in Yuka. Maho is taken down by Yuka, but Rika comes in to help. She is fought off by Yuka, but this gives Maho enough time to counter Yuka from the top rope and deliver a brutal neckbreaker from within the ropes. Rika comes in and hits Yuka with a flurry of hip attacks to show how well she has been conditioning herself. She applies the Dragon Sleeper hold, but Yuka refuses to give up. Thinking of a better plan, Rika releases the hold to try to hit the Dragon Twist of Fate. But this allows Yuka a chance to slip away and tag in a well-rested Shoko. And with both Miraicleans in play, they execute a number of tandem moves. The Dragon Bombers work well together with Maho's resilience and Rika's quick thinking and large moveset, but they don't have much team cohesion. While Yuka and Shoko are able to pull off double 619s and topes mixed with top rope splashes, the most the Dragon Bombers can do is a slam followed by a suicide drop. Maho is left in the centre of the ring as Yuka goes for the magical girl splash. Rika tries to stop her but is knocked away by Shoko, who for added measure hits Maho with a DDT to keep her down as Yuka hits the magical girl splash. Rika and Maho limp to the back as streamers fly in for the new champions. After their loss for the tag titles, the Dragon Bombers begin to drift apart, not teaming together for another 2 months and only teaming 5 times total from October 2017 to March 2018. In February, Rika appears on an episode of DDT The Night, which is a talk show on Abema TV hosted by DDT wrestlers. Rika criticises the management policies that the girls of Tokyo Joshi had to abide by. Since Tokyo Joshi started, all wrestlers had to abide by 3 rules. They could not smoke, they could not drink, and they could not have a boyfriend. Shingo Takagi agrees that the rules are a little outdated and puts up a voting poll for the viewers. An overwhelming majority are in support of Rika that the rules are unfair, and whether that action had anything to do with it, by November that same year, Tokyo Joshi wrestlers were no longer required to follow these rules. Back in Tokyo Joshi, Miyu is on her 2nd title reign and had just beaten Yuna Manase for her 2nd defense of the belt. From behind, Maho Kurone sneaks up on her. Startled, Miyu drops the belt, which Maho picks up, and in her own way, challenges Miyu for the belt. Miyu had fought Maho in the past, but Maho has gone through some changes since then, which takes Miyu off guard. Maho chases Miyu around the ring and on many occasions attempts to bite her, Miyu doing what she can to keep the dead girl down. But the match starts to go Maho's way when she throws Miyu to the outside. With reckless abandon, she begins to throw Miyu around the arena, and when she tosses Miyu back into the ring, she brings a chair with her. The ref fights Maho for the chair, giving Miyu a chance to fight back now Maho is distracted. Maho hits a swinging neckbreaker and attempts the Dragon Sleeper hold, but Miyu pushes away and accidentally hits the ref. With no one to officiate or disqualify, Maho grabs the chair and begins to attack Miyu with it. She hits a swinging neckbreaker from within the chair, a brutal headshot, and ends the sequence with a suicide drop. But with no ref to count the pin, Maho can't win. And with the time spent getting the ref to get back up, gives Miyu enough time to recover. The ref goes down again after trying to get the chair off Maho, and when Maho tries to slam Miyu onto the chair, she counters and drops Maho onto the chair with a backbreaker. Miyu discards the chair and hits a Famouser and a German suplex, but the undead girl won't stay down. Maho's resilience is commendable, taking strike after strike from Miyu, but as Maho begins to rise, Miyu hits her with the Crash Rabbit Heat for the win.
今まで何回もタイトルマッチに挑戦して負けてきてタッグのベルトもダメで私は負け犬だけどもっともっと東京女子を引っ張っていきたい。だからその正面にベルトが欲しい。挑戦させてください。今リカは自分のことを負け犬って言ったけど、これは多分私だけが思っていることじゃなくて ける以外にかっこいいし、東京女子に対しての愛もプロレスに対しての愛もものすごく私に伝わってくるし、それを見て悔しいなって思う時もあるし、ベルトに挑戦する以上は自分に自信を持ってきてほしい。絶対それはできるはずです。根本的にリカはやっぱりかっこいいし、何より気持ちのまっすぐさがすごく私にはかっこよく見えます。そんなリカだからこそ、リカが挑戦したいんだったら東京女子プロレスで今一番大きい大会、5月3日後楽園ホールでこのベルトをかけてリカとシングル、それでリカとこのベルトをかけて戦いたいと思ってやります。次の挑戦は絶対負けない。よろしくお願いします。
In the lead up for Rika's championship match, the Dragon Bombers are teaming together once more. They face Miyu Yamashita in a kind of warm-up match. In their first encounter, Rika is able to keep up with Miyu's striking by using her hip attacks, but is unable to counter Miyu's backbreaker and fails to hit the Dragon Screw when grabbing one of Miyu's kicks. Rika gets Miyu in the figure 4, but Miyu is able to get to the ropes to break the hold. Rika manages to struggle free from an AA attempt and apply the Dragon Sleeper, but Miyu is able to kick her out of it. And after a kick to the face, Miyu is able to hit the AA to win the first match before the championship match at Yes Wonderland.
"5月3日後楽園は私とリカのただのシングルじゃないんだよ。このシングルベルトをかけて戦う覚悟なんだろう。見せてあげる。
In the final match before their championship match, Rika has a new hairdo and a new game plan. She is able to lock in the figure 4 and keep Miyu locked in after multiple reversals and escape attempts. Rika has her in the centre of the ring, but due to tag team interference isn't able to win with the move. She goes for the Dragon Twist of Fate, but Miyu breaks out and responds with a swift kick to the head. And when Miyu goes for the attitude adjustment again to win the match, Rika breaks free, hits a hip attack, and again from the top rope, and gets Miyu in a Dragon Sleeper. Miyu attempts to kick out of it again, but Rika brings her to the floor and hooks in deep, forcing Miyu to tap out, giving Rika a victory over Miyu in the match leading up to their final confrontation. Rika announcing that she is ready to win the white belt. Rika had gone for the Princess Championship before and came up short both times, but with her new ring gear, hairstyle and determination, Rika will fight harder than she ever has before. The two are equal during the opening of the match, reversing multiple grapples and holds on each other, leading to a standoff. To either taunt Miyu or psych herself up, Rika refuses the clean breakup from her collar and elbow tie-up and slaps Miyu in the face. Miyu responds in kind by delivering kick after kick. Rika counters when Miyu runs off the ropes and regains control. She begins to focus on Miyu's legs so that Miyu is less inclined to use her kicks and to increase the effectiveness of the dragon screw. But when she goes for it, Miyu is able to free her leg and hit a backbreaker. The damage Rika had done before had paid off as Miyu is not able to capitalise, clutching her hurt knee. And holds it again after performing a stomp. Miyu now has to strike using her arms, which are less effective. After beating Rika down, Miyu gets enough adrenaline to attempt a corner knee strike, but Rika dodges out of the way and applies a figure 4 leg lock. The offense Rika did earlier on Miyu's legs would increase the power of the hold, meaning Miyu could only stay in it for so long. But because the move was applied in the corner, Miyu grabs the ropes immediately to break the hold. Rika attempts to apply the hold in the centre of the ring, but Miyu escapes, and the two begin fighting back and forth with big strike moves. Miyu able to hit a corner knee strike, and Rika 2 dragon screws, one from inside the ropes and another from the top rope, throwing Miyu to the centre of the ring. Capitalising, Rika applies the figure 4. Miyu is just able to make the ropes, and before she is able to recover, Rika rips her leg out of her leg with another dragon screw. But when Rika goes for a top rope hip attack, Miyu dodges, hitting a buzzsaw kick and a German suplex, but Rika kicks out. The two go back and forth as strike after strike. Rika is able to overpower Miyu and hits a low drop kick, a hip attack, and then even the Dragon Twist of Fate. But it's still not enough to pin Miyu. Rika goes for another hip attack, but Miyu intercepts with a kick to the head and goes for the attitude adjustment. Rika struggles free and transitions into a Dragon Sleeper hold, but can't bring Miyu to the mat. Allowing Miyu to kick out of it, Miyu hits another head kick to Rika and then the attitude adjustment, but it's still not enough. But Rika has given all she can in that kick out. She keeps trying to get up, but Miyu constantly kicks her down until she is too weak to avoid the Crash Rabbit Heat, which gives Miyu the win. After 20 minutes of fighting, Rika is unable to face Miyu and quickly leaves the ring with Maho there to help her get to the back. Unfortunately, this is the last time the Dragon Bombers would be together, after both trying and failing to beat Miyu for the belt. Maho would step away from wrestling due to personal reasons, and Rika hasn't gone for the Princess belt since. The Dragon Bombers story may have ended on a low note, but things still move on. Rika went on to thwart Sakisama's plans once more, even beating Bishigun for the tag titles for her first reign with the belt, and has now become the longest reigning tag champion. But that's a whole different story. Thank you so much for watching. I apologise that this video took a little bit longer to come out than usual. I wasn't expecting the video to be as long as it was, but I'm happy with what I eventually came out with. I wasn't that big of a Rika Tatsumi fan as some of the other girls, but after watching the Sin Bishigun vs Dragon Bomber storyline, she's one of my favourites now. And of course I love Maho, just on principle. I'd like to thank everyone for their patience and support for this latest video. I thank you all for commenting, subscribing, and liking the videos that I put out. I'd also like to thank my translator for helping me with the promos that I put in this video. And I'm hoping that the next video doesn't take this long to make again. So, thank you again so much for watching. Ta-ta.